White and Rose Red. A lonely little cottage stood on the edge of a forest just outside the village. It was known as Rose Cottage because two beautiful rose bushes grew outside it, one with roses as white as snow and the other with deep red ones. An old widow lived in the cottage with her two lovely daughters. She had named them after the roses, Snow White and Rose Red. The two girls were very kind and good-hearted. They worked hard to help their mother at home, and when the work was done, they would happily play in the forest. When evening fell, the girls could be seen sitting at the fireplace with their mother. They would tell each other stories, and their mother taught them how to knit and stitch. One winter night, they heard someone knocking at their door. Who would come so late? They wondered. Snow White and Rose Red ran to open the door. They stepped back in fright, for outside there was a huge brown bear. "Don't be scared," said the bear. "I won't hurt you. It's so cold outside. Will you let me stay here till spring comes, please?" The girls looked at their mother. She asked the bear to come in. The girls looked after him and made him feel very comfortable. When winter was over and the first flowers of spring came, the bear said goodbye to them, thanking them for their kindness. Spring had come, so the girls went out to play in the afternoon. They found an ugly little dwarf in a clearing. His beard had got tangled in a bush. They helped him to get free. But instead of thanking them for helping him, the ill-tempered fellow grumbled that they had pulled his beard. The next afternoon, the girls went out to gather berries. Suddenly, a large eagle flew overhead and they heard someone shouting for help. They looked up and saw that the eagle was carrying the same dwarf in its claws. Snow White flung a stick at the eagle. It dropped the dwarf and flew off. "You might have hit me with the stick," yelled the ungrateful dwarf, "or I might have got hurt when I fell." Some days later, the girls came upon the dwarf in the forest. They saw that he had a large bag full of fabulous jewels. They shone and sparkled in the sunlight that came through the trees. As the girls watched him, suddenly they saw a large brown bear come rushing out of the trees. The brown bear grabbed the bag and the dwarf fell. "Oh, please, my lord, I'll break the spell. Just let me go," begged the dwarf. The brown bear let the dwarf go. The girls stood there, frozen with fright for a while. They looked in wonder. In place of the brown bear stood a handsome young prince with the bear skin at his feet. "Don't you know me?" asked the prince, smiling. "I was the bear you gave shelter to in the winter. I am a prince and was kidnapped by this wicked dwarf," he explained. "He promised to return me to my father, the king, if he got a bag of jewels. But when he got them, he turned me into a bear, and none in the kingdom recognized me. Both your mother and you were so kind to me last winter," said the grateful prince. "And you saved this wicked dwarf many a time, so I could get the jewels and break the spell." He took the girls home to their mother and promised to return soon to take them to his palace. The prince kept his promise. A carriage arrived at the cottage to take the widow and her daughters to the palace. The prince married Snow White, and Rose Red married his brother. There was such a grand banquet at the palace to celebrate the weddings. The widow also stayed at the palace with her daughters, but she brought with her the two beautiful rose bushes, one with white roses and one with deep red ones.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.